Let's dive into a fascinating aspect of Iceland: its culturally liberal approach to sexuality and nudity. Located in northwestern Europe, Iceland stands out not only for its breathtaking landscapes, but also for its open and non-judgmental attitude toward intimacy and the human body. Unlike many other places where the topic is still considered taboo, in Iceland, men and women talk about and express their sexuality in a natural and straightforward way. In Icelandic society, nudity is embraced without embarrassment, reflecting a sense of pride and freedom that often surprises visitors from more conservative countries. This liberal stance is deeply rooted in the local culture and is significantly influenced by female leadership and vision, both in public life and at home. Iceland is, without a doubt, an example of how freedom and respect for individuality can shape a more open and inclusive society. Iceland is celebrated not just for its stunning landscapes, with volcanoes and glaciers that stretch the imagination, but also for its rich cultural history. This fascinating country, home to sturdy horses and wild nature, is often cited as one of the most beautiful places in the world. Plus, there are intriguing stories woven into its Viking past. It's said that the first Scandinavian explorers hid treasures in secret caves beneath the region's waterfalls. Viking society, known for its openness and progressiveness, especially in terms of intimate relationships, is also a key part of Icelandic history. Back then, women played significant roles in family decisions, including marriage and divorce, highlighting an advanced view on gender equality among the early Norse settlers. These cultural and social freedoms provide a fascinating backdrop for understanding the modern sense of intimate freedom in Iceland and other Nordic countries, reflecting a tradition of openness and mutual respect that dates back to the Viking era. In a time dominated by patriarchal narratives, Viking women already enjoyed remarkable autonomy, especially when it came to marriage. They had the right to test their future husbands in premarital relationships, assessing whether their partners would be suitable before making a final commitment. This practice allowed women to freely decide whether to marry after the age of 15, often with older men, although families also had a say in the marriage arrangements. However, even after marriage, a wife's opinion held significant weight in family decisions. Additionally, Viking women had substantial legal rights, including the right to divorce and inherit land. These practices are often depicted in the Icelandic sagas, which document the settlements and social life in Iceland during the 10th and 11th centuries, providing a glimpse into the progressive gender dynamics of the time. In the 18th century, specifically in 1707, Iceland was under the rule of the Kingdom of Denmark. During this time, a decree from the Danish king imposed a remarkable requirement on Icelandic women. They had to have at least 6 children, regardless of their marital status. This royal order reflected a strategy to address demographic crises or survival challenges the community might face, such as famines or diseases. Surprisingly, this policy wasn't considered abusive or dishonorable by the local population. Instead, it was seen as an essential measure for preserving the Icelandic people. Today, Iceland's dating culture has completely transformed compared to its historical practices. The formality of traditional dating rarely appeals to modern Icelanders, who prefer more spontaneous and casual interactions. It's common for them to meet someone in social settings like parties or bars, or virtually through dating apps. After a casual encounter, it's typical for 2 people to decide to spend the night together at one of their homes, exploring the possibility of a deeper connection. This behavior is considered normal and acceptable in Icelandic society, reflecting an open and non-judgmental approach to relationships and intimacy. In Iceland, the dynamics of gender in relationships and the business world are strikingly progressive and equal. In a typical Icelandic setting, it's not uncommon for women to take the lead in both romantic encounters and business ventures. The local culture doesn't see the need to follow a rigid dating protocol. Often the first physical interaction happens early on, used by many as a way to gauge compatibility and chemistry between 2 people. In the professional sphere, women not only participate actively, but often lead family businesses, while their husbands might take on less prominent roles. This reversal of traditional roles is welcomed and reflects the spirit of equality that runs through Icelandic society. Here, both men and women can take on leadership and responsibility without stigma or surprise, showcasing a commitment to gender parity that is central to Iceland's cultural identity. In Iceland, women not only take on leadership roles in work teams, but often hold positions of greater responsibility, a stark contrast to the gender dynamics in many other countries. In those places, it's common for men to dominate leadership roles, with women being underrepresented. In Iceland, however, the reality is different. Men and women share the spotlight equally in both academia and politics. At Icelandic universities, the ratio of female to male students is about 2-to-1, reflecting a female-dominated academic environment. In parliament, female representation is around 50%, showcasing the country's commitment to gender equality. The female voice is not only heard but also valued and considered crucial in making key decisions. This equality also extends to expressing personal and romantic intentions. In Iceland, women are encouraged to openly express their desires and intentions, without the stigma of appearing too forward or assertive. This freedom of expression is reciprocated, with both men and women feeling equally comfortable being open and honest about their feelings, creating a society where direct communication is the norm, not the exception. In Iceland, a woman who openly expresses her opinions is admired for her strength, competence, and self-confidence. Unlike many cultures that idealize romantic love, Icelanders take a more pragmatic and less idealized approach to relationships. While Iceland's weather is cold, it's not as extreme as in other Nordic countries, where temperatures can drop below -10 degrees. However, the country is known for its severe storms with strong winds and heavy snow. In 934, Iceland experienced one of the largest volcanic eruptions in its history, which released lava and gases that affected regions as far away as China. Additionally, Iceland's family structure is quite unique. About 70% of children are raised by single parents. Separation or divorce doesn't mean a complete break in social ties. It's common for ex-spouses to continue having lunch together and to stay in regular contact, reflecting a more flexible and open understanding of personal relationships. One aspect of Icelandic culture that might surprise visitors is how casually nudity is viewed, especially when it comes to bathing in hot springs. In Iceland, taking an outdoor bath in a hot spring isn't seen as an intimate or romantic act, but rather as a way to reconnect with nature and embrace the human condition. The hot springs, scattered across the country, offer the perfect refuge with temperatures that are usually ideal for a relaxing soak. However, some of these springs can reach extremely high temperatures, so it's important to check before diving in. Beyond being a place of beauty and relaxation, Iceland is geologically young and constantly evolving, which adds a dynamic and fascinating element to the experience of exploring its natural landscapes. The Blue Lagoon is one of Iceland's most iconic destinations, offering visitors a unique experience. This spa features a man-made lagoon that's heated year-round, allowing for a relaxing dip no matter the weather. It's important to note that places like spas and public pools in Iceland often involve nudity, which is common and culturally accepted. Interestingly, due to the country's relatively small population, Iceland has implemented an innovative system to help prevent genetic diseases. This system allows Icelanders to check if potential romantic or reproductive partners share similar genetic backgrounds, helping to avoid hereditary issues in future generations. This measure reflects the country's commitment to public health and the well-being of its community. One of Iceland's most iconic figures is the singer Björk, whose fame goes far beyond her home country and resonates around the world. Known for her innovative and experimental approach to music, Björk has been a powerful influence in the music industry, constantly exploring new ideas and concepts in her art. One of the most memorable moments of her career was in 2000 when she starred in the film *Dancer in the Dark*, by Danish director Lars von Trier. This film not only competed for an Oscar, but also won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, with Björk taking home the Best Actress award. Moreover, Björk has continued to expand her cultural impact with the Björk Digital exhibition, which explored the intersection of music and digital technology. This exhibition made its way to the United States in 2019, showcasing her ability to connect with global audiences through her unique artistic experiences. Iceland is often cited as one of the most favorable places in the world for women. With around 90% of them active in both the workforce and politics, the nation stands out for its progress in gender equality. The presidency of Vigdis Finnbogadóttir, from 1980 to 1996, is particularly notable as she was the first woman in the world to be democratically elected as head of state, symbolizing the country's commitment to women's rights. While Iceland has an open view on sexuality and nudity, Icelanders resist the idea of their country being seen solely as a destination for fleeting romantic pleasures. It's important to recognize that despite their liberal attitudes, Icelandic women have strong rights and expect mutual respect in any relationship. So, for those visiting the country, it's recommended to enjoy Iceland's spectacular natural beauty and reflect on how the local culture shapes views on personal relationships, whether seen in a positive or negative light.